Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
And welcome back. I say welcome back because you've obviously come back to hear us. This podcast is about board games. This particular podcast is going to be about, quote unquote, as I put my hands up in the air and make air quotes, war games.
Speaking of wars, how about that Star Wars trailer?
Oh, wait a minute. How about that Star Wars trailer?
Or teaser trailer.
A teaser trailer.
Just one big tease.
All right. Okay. My thoughts.
I'm not about war, though. I'm about peace and love.
My thoughts. I like the girl who plays Rey. What's her last name?
Ridley. Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. She's nice. I enjoy her.
She's very nice.
I don't understand the acrobatic display of
the leap over the TIE fighter?
That was
or whatever that is.
I don't know. I was somewhat put off, but at the same time, I was intrigued.
She's showing her force powers.
Showing your force, and apparently, when you
force jump engage,
you can But here's the thing.
You know how much? Go ahead.
How high can you jump if you have force high jumping powers?
At least TIE fighter height.
Well, like I'm just saying is that if you've watched the episode 1, 2, and 3, all of a sudden it seemed like Obi-Wan, he could jump and fall and do whatever.
Yeah.
So is your jump height commiserate to your force, your midichlorians?
It's commiserate to your midichlorians.
So the higher midichlorians you have, it's like your Michael Jordan
higher you
level.
Can jump.
Okay.
That's why I can just barely get off the ground because
yeah.
I got a low count.
Low count. You got low T. That's
That's
not midichlorians. That's low T. That's the difference.
I'm doing the best I can. I can jump. I could jump up on top of a chair.
What kind of chair?
A sturdy chair.
A sturdy one.
A very sturdy chair.
I thought the trailer was interesting. I did note another thing that disturbed me about the Star Wars trailer was that Kylo Ren has taken up metallurgy and he's beginning to weld back his helmet that he
got certified.
He got certified.
Got his welding certificate.
Like, you have like umpteen.
I'm so angry.
You have an army.
Sir, you need a certificate to be welding. Oh, where do I go? Where's the nearest Votech?
Where'd you get your certificate? On Alderaan before it blew up.
And now, couldn't they? Okay, so I mean, basically, a lightsaber is a blowtorch.
Couldn't he make it?
Welding.
Couldn't he have another helmet?
No,
he had to make that one.
It's very. That one's very important to him. He's sentimental.
He is.
He's an emotional guy. So that helmet's sentimental to him.
At the end of the teaser, you hear Emperor Palpatine is what it sounds like laughing.
I think that's been confirmed by JJ himself.
JJ says that's him laughing, which makes me wonder what that's all about. Like, does he come back?
Can we just not let go of the past? Move on, people.
Well, no, here's the thing. The last Star Wars was about trying to let go of the past. That was literally what the catchline was. And then all the fans revolted and said,
Nobody liked it. Nobody liked it.
What?
You can't please them.
This is
can't please us.
You can't please us.
I liked Force Awakens. I like JJ. Last Jedi was fine. I preferred Force Awakens. I'm sure this is going to be just as exciting upon first watch.
I think.
And then everybody will review it, critique it, and destroy it.
That the same type of people who play board games like Star Wars, and I think they have this type of sentimentality. Like, we like things that we're used to, and that we're looking for that same high that we had when we first watched Star Wars, and we're not going to get that. And until we realize we're not going to get that, and we move on, it's going to be a rough next couple of years. Because Disney is going to release their own streaming channel and release their own Star Wars shows, and that's going to be interesting. And I don't know if I'm going to be, I don't know. I don't watch.
You can have all the Marvel and Star Wars you want. And apparently they got The Simpsons, too, because it's Fox.
And
so you can have 30 seasons of The Simpsons.
The Simpsons should have died out in the 90s. They were cool back then. Now they're just tired.
Remember when Dog was funny?
It was never really funny. It was funny for a hot second.
Eat a cow, man.
Yeah. I remember
I had a Bart Simpson poster once upon a time.
I remember my mother not letting me watch The Simpsons because they were
too edgy.
They were too edgy.
Too edgy, bro.
Yeah. Little did you know. But
little did you know what? Finish that sentence.
No, I stopped myself. This is called self-control. It's called self-control.
I like your haircut.
Thank you. I got a new haircut.
It's like
it's trimmed up for
you
the
did
summer.
kind of that. You did kind of that short on the side, but kind of long on top.
Yeah, it's
combed
like
over.
it's like I'm
It's
all
that hipster look.
It is a hipster, but I'm not a hipster.
You kind of are. You hate everything.
Do hipsters hate everything?
Kind of.
Well, in that, but I don't have the facial hair, nor am I the retro type. I like
that's true.
modern things. I like new things.
You're just a cranky old man.
I'm just cranky. I'm a cranky
with a nice
hipster.
haircut.
I'm a prankster.
Prankster?
That's not a word. Doesn't work. Oh,
What did you think of the Golden Geek Awards? Is that still a topic of conversation?
I don't. Let me.
You know what won? I got them all right here.
Okay, tell me who won.
Root won Game of the Year.
Now, Root is technically a war game. We did a review of Root back in the day. Root is fine. It's somewhat, it's not quite well put together. Like some people have.
Like me?
No, because some people have bad experiences with Root. Oh. So, for instance, like I've seen many comments talked about how if you're the cats, it's much easier to be the cats and spread out, and the people or the birds are getting stomped and so forth. It's just a difficult game sometimes, and it's interesting. It's super asymmetrical, which kind of kills it for us. I did not think it was the best game of last year. It was interesting. It was nice artwork.
We preferred the runner-up, Brass Birmingham,
which is shameful that it was runner-up. It should have won.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't it just Brass? Come on.
Move along.
Come on.
Move along.
2-player game winner, Keyforge. Never played it.
Nah, not interested in it.
Runner-up, Duelosaur Island.
Oh, the 2-player Dinosaur Island?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you put that together from Duelosaur Island?
It took me a second there. I'm moving slow tonight.
A little slow on the pickup?
A little slow.
Artwork and presentation, Root. Okay.
I agree.
No.
You don't like the artwork?
That should have been Everdell.
Oh, certainly. Oh, yeah.
Everdell was runner-up.
Oh.
But yet Root won artwork and presentation. Really?
I call foul. I call biased and foul.
Everdell was gorgeous. Absolutely. It had the tree, the artwork. Root, I like the game of Root better. Everdell, the artwork and presentation is not even close. It's Everdell all the way.
I keep pointing at you so viciously, and I forgot what I was about to say. But I agree with what you just said.
I appreciate that.
+1.
Thank you. Card game winner, The Mind.
That's not a game.
Someone did like you saying that. They said, newsflash, it is a game.
Newsflash, people. If you want to upset people on Instagram, I found out this.
Have a differing opinion.
Express a negative opinion, or just say, insert game title here is not a game, and you'll upset everybody. I'm just going to start doing that.
You do like to just kind of like go stir stuff up. Much like you did on Facebook.
This is me. I've taken my pot stirring
You're doing
from
the Cabbage Patch.
Facebook.
That's what that is.
This is the Cabbage Patch? I've taken my pot stirring from the Facebook to the IG or the gram, as Bubba says. Bubba sends his love. I forgot to tell you. Bubba sends his love. Bubba is not be able to be on here right now, nor is Enrique, but Bubba sends his love. Because a lot of people love Bubba for some reason. But he is not able to be here because he was busy today.
Miss you, Bubba.
But he's going to be with us at BGG Spring.
Yay.
So if you want to come see Bubba,
the Bubs.
he's probably the one you want to see.
Bubba, I can't.
Out of the four of us.
I can't do 2 syllables. I'll call him the Bubs.
Out of 4 of us, I would say he's probably the one you want to meet.
Oh, yeah.
Because Enrique's awkward, I'm awkward, you're kind of awkward. Bubba's like the functional one.
Bubba's the one that like knows how to talk.
Yeah, he's very smooth.
And he's smart.
Yeah.
I've tried to take a more zen approach to life here lately.
I've noticed that.
And I was thinking, just co-op games from here on out. Just pandemic.
How about we can play Robinson Crusoe anytime.
Robinson Crusoe from here on out. I'm not going to argue with you this time.
I've pre-ordered the expansion to Robinson Crusoe, and we are going to play it, and we're going to broadcast that. We need to do that. What's that thing that the kids do that they play on the Twitch?
Me from a couple episodes ago would have said no.
That they watch. They watch you play. That is the most boring thing ever, is watch someone else play
Twitch?
a board game. Yeah.
Twitch.
I don't want to do that, but I think we should record it.
Oh, well, you can do it on YouTube or Twitch.
I don't want to.
I actually have a Twitch account, but Twitch is like pretty popular among certain circles, like gaming, like video gamers and stuff. But people post that stuff on YouTube as well.
Why would you want someone else play a game?
People enjoy it.
Why would you do that?
You're asking the wrong person because I personally don't enjoy it, but people don't enjoy it. Enrique does it.
That's not an
He
argument.
does.
Not an argument.
And all else fellas, you just say Enrique does it, and that's case closed.
Okay. Well,
Wait, hold on.
what, you have something else you want to banter about?
Well, we're not done yet. Family game winner. Take a guess.
Gloomhaven. Come on,
No.
kids, let's go raid some dungeons.
The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
I want to play the Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Runner up, Welcome to.
I like Welcome to.
Most innovative.
Root.
Root.
Okay.
Party game.
Root.
The Mind.
Is it a game? Go ahead.
Apparently you don't think so, but apparently others said newsflash. It is. Anytime you say newsflash as a preface, it's like you don't really have anything else better coming to mind to say to come back at you. So it's like newsflash.
But you got to whip your head like this, side to side.
Newsflash. It is a game.
Is a game.
So basically, all you really have to say as a counter argument is it is too.
It's by yes.
But you preface it with newsflash.
It's like
it is too.
Why do you say newsflash instead of headlines?
Headlines.
Headlines. This just in.
Scrolling across the bottom. This just in. The Mind is a game. Take that, Shane.
That's a much better comeback. Go ahead.
Solo game. The one with all the dice exploding on the cover.
I don't know what that is. The German.
It's called That's Pretty Clever in American. Runner up, Chronicles of Crime. Best strategy game. Here we go.
Root.
No.
What?
Brass got that one.
Nice.
But riddle me this.
I'm riddling you.
How is Root Game of the Year? It doesn't win Family Game. It's not a family. I guess it's a little too in depth for that. But yet, Brass wins Best Strategy Game. Oh, but Root does win Best Thematic Game.
Because cats invading the forest and fighting birds is thematic.
I guess. Best Podcast. Ludology.
Not us.
Not us.
Here's what I don't like about that podcast category. This is what I don't like. You ready?
Go ahead. Yes, I know.
Newsflash.
Newsflash.
Apparently, you can only win the Golden Geek once. And then
I
you're
don't quite understand that.
I don't like that.
I can understand the concept, like they want to open it up to other people, but then the best podcast isn't winning.
No, it's
It's like, okay, discount. So, like, Secret Cabal's won before. Dice Tower, I'm sure,
they've all won, and they've gone down the list.
Shut Up and Sit Down's one.
And so we're now down.
So we have a chance. If it goes on
here's
long
the thing.
enough.
Ludology won. Ludology were Geoff and his elderly friend.
So basically, it's the best of what's left.
Right. And Ludology is
we
just
do have a
Geoff
chance.
and his old friend talking about the structures of games. And it's a decent podcast. I like Ludology.
30 years from now,
We'll make it.
we might get
We'll
nominated.
make it.
We might have a chance.
I don't want to be nominated because I'm a hipster and I don't like being nominated
So
because I'm
mainstream.
mainstream.
No, we're
I'm
on the
so
edge.
about that.
The
We're on
fringe.
the edge. We're on the fringe.
With the cool kids.
Yeah.
Like your haircut.
I'm going to get me some flannel.
Oh, no. What?
Yeah, I'm going to wear flannel.
You associate being cool with flannel?
Well-
so you're like grunge guy?
I'm going to get grunged.
Did you like grunge music growing up?
I don't know what that is, honestly.
Nirvana? Pearl Jam?
Oh, I enjoyed Nirvana.
Pearl Jam?
Oh yeah, that's grunge
That's
music.
grunge.
They're
That
like,
is like the heart of grunge.
but they're like in the Hall of Fame. They're
well,
big
that's
time.
like they started the I don't know. I'm not a rock alternative guy.
I like
but
that Pearl Jam.
I know the whole movement was considered grunge because why? Maybe they looked grungy.
I like
don't
that
know.
Pearl Jam just made noises sometimes for the music. Like, hey, you're all trying to sing to
Yeah.
that, and it doesn't matter. It just sounds like it's
No.
good. You know,
I can karaoke to Pearl Jam pretty
I've
easy.
heard you karaoke to Pearl Jam, and you're wonderful to it because you just make various gesticulating noises.
Everything. It's good. And speaking of Metallica, you just got to go end it with that, and you're good on Metallica.
What?
Nothing else matters. That's how Metallica, like, that's his thing.
I think you just ruined Metallica for me. I think you just now pointed something out that I'm going to now listen to every time.
Unforgiven. Nothing else matters. Yeah. I was a big fan of. Okay, I was a '90s kid, so yeah, Pearl Jam is actually my most favorite band of all time.
Okay, that's pretty. Yeah, I'm racking my brain about mine, and they're up there. I'm trying to think. Go ahead.
Like they're one of the few bands They have several albums. I can listen to every song on the album, and I enjoy it. They have slow stuff. They have fast stuff.
They were that generation's Creedence Clearwater. CCR.
Well, they kind of... People, obviously, they compare them to Nirvana. Nirvana was like, they're an echelon above... But to be honest, I always liked Pearl Jam better.
I think if everybody would admit it, they do too. I think everybody, if you're hashtag Pearl Jam or if you're hashtag Nirvana, let's start that.
I mean, Nirvana's just held in more high regard because of Kurt and the tragedy that surrounds him.
Well, David, that Grohl guy now.
Dave Grohl is lit. Now, I love Dave Grohl.
Hey,
I love the Foo Fighters.
Like the Foo Fighters.
I especially love the song they play on... What's the movie with Will Ferrell and Marky Mark where they're the cops?
Oh, a Hero. The Hero song.
Yeah, the Hero song. What's the name of that movie? The Other Guys.
The Other Guys. They jump off the building.
Dwayne Johnson and the Samuel Jackson are like, you think of what I'm thinking? Yeah, aim for the bushes. Ooh, be my hero. And they just splat on the concrete. That part took me by so surprise. I was like, that was one of the best scenes ever.
I think that scene's a nice analogy for us. If one of us has a bad idea, the other one would you jump off a brick? Absolutely.
Yeah. As long as you're playing Foo Fighters, I'm doing it.
You start playing some Foo Fighters, we're liable to. Oh. Speaking of bad decisions, let's talk about our current endeavor, our soiree into quote unquote wargaming. Recently, all right, fun fact.
You scared me with the fact that you said speaking of bad decisions.
This is okay, here this is why. I'm gonna get into this.
Okay.
Way back in a galaxy far, far away, I used to be somewhat of a war gamer. I enjoyed those old hexagonal chit-based games. Then I got out of board gaming for quite some time, got back into board gaming, and slowly realized that maybe there's some other things out there. Recently, Gaby started talking about perhaps we should try to expand our minds and our repertoire. Gaby decided to purchase a few of the more well-respected war games, quote-unquote, mainly most of them made by GMT Games. If you're not familiar with GMT Games, their games basically are particularly historical in nature. They make a lot of 2 or 3 player games that are very confrontational,
and solitary,
push-pull. And so after doing some research, Gaby asked me about which would he think would be best, and I recommended Combat Commander Europe. Combat Commander Europe is a 2-player game, again, played on one of like 10 different maps, paper maps with your little chit-based World War II guys where you move them around in squad-based tactical card play, combat. And according to GMT with their difficulty rating on the back of the box, on a scale of 1 to 9, this game is a 5. This is middle of the road.
Average.
It's average for them. So, of course,
probably should have started with a 1.
I don't know if they make a 1.
So then how are you going to have a line of games, rate them from 1 to 9, but not have anything below a 5?
I think a 1 is like, I don't know, they probably
tic-tac-toe.
rock, paper, scissors. That's their tactical game of the year.
Well, that's where I need to
and
start.
When you tie up, you go to thumb wrestling. Combat Commander, to give you a very quick overview of it, you have a hand of cards with certain orders. You play a card, you do that order. You move these chits around. And then there's some cards that you can use to play during your opponent's turn to attack them. You're basically trying to be one side on defense or offense, take certain objectives, victory points, blah, 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 blah.
Russia, Germany, America. Those are your 3 places to choose from, right? Depending on scenario.
Depending on the scenarios. The rule book is your standard war gamer rule book with...
I'm glad you read it.
Paragraph 3.
I couldn't handle
Chapter 3, Paragraph 2, Sentence
Article
1.
2.0.03.
Now, this is something that I enjoy because my father was in the military. He loved talking about historical things, and I have a big-time obsession with tactical games where I'm moving and looking and trying to ambush people. And Gaby thought that Combat Commander told a story, which is what really pushed him to play it. So I learned the game, and I say learned it. I spent several hours trying to learn it and several videos trying to learn it. And then I'm pretty sure we probably got some of the rules wrong. We may have not quite played it. We played the basic entry level scenario that it had. Go on. Tell them about your experience, Mr. Moraga.
Production value. I don't know if you're familiar with these games or not. It's very low. They're just little pieces of cardboard and a paper play mat.
You're a paper play mat. Go ahead.
The rules, like he said, is a book. It's just a book of words and words and words. No pictures.
What books are. That's what books are. You're literally describing.
I like picture books.
A pizza is just sauce and bread, and but
it's got lots of words.
Okay.
In the subtext, but it's divided up very well. It looks like, from what I could tell as I watched you read it.
Yes.
Like you go to the index, like if you're looking up.
It's well organized.
How to route somebody.
It's kind of like walking into a library. Yeah,
recover all these different actions you can do. You look in the index. Oh, if you want to learn how to attack, you go to Article 3, Subtext 7, Amendment 5. There you go.
Yes.
So, yes, it's very... To learn it and to set it up is very difficult. Even the play, I was still asking questions as we went along, but I kind of got into the groove of it. And like Jerry said, we played one of the more simple scenarios. You play a card, you attack, you can heal somebody kind of, and every action you do depends on a die roll, and the die don't exist in the game. The die is actually cards that have die on them, which is interesting. So if I'm attacking you, and I have a dude that's a power of 8, and I'm attacking your dude's a power of 6. I roll a die. By rolling a die, I don't roll a die.
You flip a card.
I flip a card that has die on it, and it will have a 3 die and a 1 die. So that's 4 plus 8 is 12. Da 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 da. But to me, what makes this game is the events.
The events. And as what Gaby's bringing out, and I just want to touch on that.
Go ahead and touch on it.
Well, I'll touch it, and I'll touch on it pretty hard.
Yeah, easy now.
Because I have an issue.
Don't touch on it too hard.
No. I'm just going to graze it.
A light brush.
Any type of stochastic results.
Sarcastic.
Stochastic.
Stochastic?
Stochastic. STOCAAS.
I don't know what you're saying.
It's random.
Oh.
Random.
Say random.
I don't know. I close my eyes and stochastic come out. I'm sorry. Well, you know what it is.
I've never heard of that word. Are you sure?
Google it, please.
You're smarter than me. You're smarter than I am.
So any type of random results
stochastic
in a game is very frustrating because everybody who's ever played Risk just knows every once in a while.
I'll let you talk a little bit more, and then I will tell about my real feelings of the game.
Okay. Anybody who's ever played Risk or any game where their enemy just gets on a hot roll, just rolling 6s, is very frustrating. So having these decks that are pre-made where you know your odds, that's very nice. Go ahead, Gaby.
Stochastic, an adjective, randomly determined, having a random probability, distribution, or pattern that may be analyzed statistically, but may not be predicted precisely.
Thank you.
So that's exactly the word to use, Jerry. Very good.
Thank you. I've been working.
Stochastic.
So it's a good, add that to your repertoire.
I'll probably never use it.
No, it's good.
I'm like Porky Pig. It's a random.
So with this game, it tells a story. So for instance, it's very frustrating.
Tell the story of Lieutenant Blankenship.
All right, we'll tell the story of one Lieutenant Blankenship, and I tend to post this on the Instagram. Gaby had his units, and amongst them are certain leaders, and you want to activate your leaders with orders because then they can tell the other squads what to do. And there was one Lieutenant Blankenship who somehow managed to die 3 times in this.
He didn't die. You just thought he was dead.
And it was very interesting as Gaby utilized this one soldier who I repeatedly suppressed and attacked, who accidentally called in mortar fire on himself and then retreated and somehow come back through a random event and then got wiped off the map again and then come back with a random event. It was very funny. And the game as a whole is very tactical. Like I'm putting my soldiers over here to protect this area, and it has line of sight to this sector here, and I think that's where Gaby's going. But you don't know what to regress into what makes this game great, not only the storytelling, but the card play, because I don't know what Gaby has. Gaby might not have an order to tell his men to fire. He might not have an order to tell his men to move. I have to assume what he has.
There's a limited amount of what you can have.
And what you can play.
Right. There's like 4 cards that are this, 3 cards that are that, 5 cards that are attack. but I may have already run through it. Oh, and something that affects that is, so if you attack me, well, I have to defend. To defend, I have to take off my stack to make a die, to roll the die.
Yeah.
And I was wondering through the game, I was like, where the crap are these certain cards I needed? I went through my whole deck. I didn't find them. I was like, oh, I burned them on these die rolls.
Right.
So it makes it even more random.
So I keep rushing you to yeah. So this game is very well put together. It's made back in 2006 by a man named Chad Jensen, and it had several different. This is its fourth printing here recently, and it's had several other iterations of it, different expansions and different.
When
types.
they reprint, are they reprinting, just making more copies, or are they changing something?
No. They work on the rules, or they print them mainly, but like they do some errata to fix some of the rules. I'll just say this. This game speaks to me on a level that makes that part of my brain, when it comes to thinking ahead and strategizing, it is deeply satisfying. Now, go ahead and tell your thoughts, and then I'll get into mine.
I bought this game because I wanted to try something different, and we've played all levels of, what would you call it? The hobby games, regular gaming.
Yes.
From the gateway to the more in-depth. The only thing I had not played is they're just called war games.
They're just called war games. Anything that's hexagonal like that.
Hexagonal. GMT. Is Victory Point another?
Yes.
Or is that something else?
Yes, it's another.
So I got it. We started playing it. But I watched Drive-Thru Review, and he actually sold me on it, Joel Eddy, because he was demonstrating it, and he's like, it just tells the story. Like he said, you draw these cards, you have these events. So you might like go in there, and this happened. I rounded a corner with my troops, pulled up on you, was going to open fire, and my gun jammed.
Which was hilarious.
It jammed. So we were out in the open with our pants down, basically. Jammed gun, couldn't do nothing. I did not expect to really like this game. I thought I would enjoy it. I thought it'd be like Memoir 44, basically.
Which you didn't really like.
No, but I'm willing to try things a second time.
Okay.
But I thought I would like this a little bit more, and I do. In fact, I freaking love this game.
It threw me off by how much you were enjoying this game. Like, I would never have thought... I wrote this game off. Like, I thought this is going to be a game that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy. Gaby's not going to want to play this game. Like, he's going to play it once and go, I didn't like this. Because there's a lot of fiddly little things.
It is. It is extremely fiddly. And like I said, we didn't even touch on everything.
No.
But I like what makes this game is the die rolls and the events.
Yes.
If it didn't have those events, I don't know that I would like the game. But the events create a story. The events enabled me to bring back Heel, Lieutenant Blankenship. That rascal came back. He crapped his pants, died. He did all kinds of crazy stuff.
So many times.
He got suppressed. He called in artillery on himself accidentally. Actually, he was calling it in on his own corporal, but the corporal just happened to be where the Germans were. But they missed and hit Blankenship instead. And it just creates this crazy, stupid story that I just thoroughly enjoy. We laughed. I will always remember Lieutenant Blankenship.
I think that games like this that create a story, there's not that many. The only thing I would say about this game that kind of... This is my thoughts, and this is why I'm not raving about it, because it is a niche game. It's something that I enjoy because I look at it as a puzzle. Like, as soon as we set up the board, I glanced and thought, okay, how am I going to be able to contain Gaby? Or what am I going to do? And as Gaby was approaching and being able to angle and hold him back and let him bust through certain areas, it's a puzzle to me.
Yes. It seems very like you start off with the advantage.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed. And Jerry did win. He was the Germans. I was the Americans.
The Jerrys.
As we got into it, how long do you think that was? An hour and a half? 2 hours?
2 hours. That's a solid 2 hours.
Towards the end, we're like, Jerry's like, it's almost done. Like, a bunch of my guys had died. He's like, let's just wrap it up. I was like, no, I just want to finish it. Come the end, I almost won.
Started making a comeback.
I started coming back. I had gotten rid of several of his infantry. They got injured, and I routed them off the map. They took off running, and came within, a couple, but it wasn't really close, but it felt closer in the end than it should have been. It didn't feel like a blowout to me.
Right. And you can blow somebody away in this game. I've seen it done, but at the same time, you have this. There's many opportunities to come back and try to snatch a win away from somebody.
Took it.
So the reason that this game is not something that I would recommend to everybody. Obviously, the time committed to learn it.
Oh, good.
Obviously, the production.
Can I be honest?
What?
If it was not for you, I would never learn this game.
Oh no. And when I was reading this,
because you enjoy the challenge of learning.
I was foaming at the mouth talking about this to Gaby. I sat down. It's like, all right, are you ready? Are you ready?
I can't. As I saw you reading that book, I was like, I was looking at you, looking at through the book. I was like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't buy that and me have to learn it because it would never happen.
But I enjoy this because it is very competitive, and I would love to play this game against somebody who has really, really played it thoroughly and knows it and the challenge of it, because you get so much more out of it. There's something about going up. This game requires a very effective opponent. And so when I was playing this and learning this game, it was like, Gaby's not going to like this. He's going to be kind of like, that's why I really don't feel like this is a game that we can blanket recommend. But as we were playing this, I got to thinking of war games and ones that I would recommend to people. So, for instance, Root has come out, and it's basically a war-type game. Right. It's not something that we kind of didn't like it that much.
But that's my Porky Pig.
I love Pearl Jam. Go ahead. Read my mind. War games that I would recommend. War game that is a war game that tells a story that's 2-player that I would recommend.
A war game.
2-player.
I'm blank.
I'll give you another hint. It was one of your greatest gaming moments of all time.
Star Wars Rebellion?
Star Wars Rebellion.
Oh, okay.
Star Wars Rebellion is more accessible than most of your GMT war games. The expansion fixes the combat in it, and there's some needless miniatures in it, and it expands certain areas, but the main issue is to replace the combat cards in it and kind of fixes it. But if you are looking for a quote-unquote war game that is 2-player, that is tactical and thematic and tells a story, Star Wars Rebellion repeatedly shows up on people's top 10 lists.
It can't help but tell a story. That's just amazing.
And it is. And that is why I think that if you're middle of the road board gamer and you're thinking about making the jump into war games, I'd kind of hold off on it. There's certainly others that will kind of get you there. But Star Wars Rebellion.
Well, this is the deal. If you play board games, I would assume that a lot of us are already kind of imaginative, or we have good imaginations. Like Combat Commander, we were laughing about Lieutenant Blankenship. We made up the stories when we went, like, he just did this, he did that. We were just making up a story ourselves as we played. And I hear lots of podcasts that do that. Like, right. That's how we do as board gamers. But if we were to just play the cards, move the chits, play the card. Yeah. Like that. No. If you just do that, if you don't make up the story in your mind and laugh and go along, no, it's not a good game.
And everybody knows that World War II was just a laugh fest.
It's a laugh fest.
Oh, yeah. It was just but good times. Good times, you know?
Yeah. You have to
look
do
at the stern-looking man on the box.
He looks very happy. Is that not Liam Neeson?
It does look like Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. He's like, I will find you, and I will kill you.
This is not Taken.
No.
Nor is it Taken 2. Nor is it Taken 3.
Or Taken the TV show.
Oh, I wish they would have took that.
Literally, Liam Neeson makes the same movie. Now he makes the same movie over and over and over in different settings. On an airplane, on a subway train, or they take his daughter.
Do you remember the old CBS movies that they used to make that were made for only TV movies that would come on? And I can't remember.
CBS?
It was like Treat Williams. Is that his name?
Oh.
Wow. He did one. Well, wait a minute. He did
Where
one.
did you pull that
He
from?
did one. I want to look it up real fast because you're going to like this because it's a movie fan. He did one there. He was the captain. He was the captain of a 747, and the plane messed up. They couldn't land, and his co-pilot was none other than Q, the guy off Star Trek. What's his name?
John Delancey.
I love that you just knew that off the top of your head. Dude, I looked at you and knew when I said Q. You're like, John Delancey. The only thing I've ever seen that man in. He's the co-pilot, which made it great. The whole
This is an old. Well, if it's Treat Williams,
CBS, it's like 90s. And so he's trying to land this plane, get it's messed up. And so, anyways, long story short, spoiler alert, they land the plane. A few years later, because that show was mildly successful because it come on Thursday night after Diagnosis Murder.
Murder, She Wrote.
No, Diagnosis Murder. That's different. The Diagnosis Murder with
But I
Jerry.
bet Murder, She Wrote was still on air.
Dick Van Dyke and his son, Dick Van Dyke Jr. Jerry Van Dyke. Jerry Van Dyke. Did you know what?
Wait. Jerry Van Dyke is Dick's son?
Yes. That was his son.
They're both very old. Are you sure?
Wait a minute. I'll look that up.
Maybe that's his brother.
I'm throwing it out there.
Jerry Van Dyke was very old in Coach.
I think you got it. Wrong. Hang on. You're thinking of somebody else.
No,
but
I know Jerry Van Dyke. He's very old as well. They're both old.
I think I misspoke. I don't think it was Jerry Van Dyke. It may have
Well,
been.
now we got to figure that
But
out.
anyways, so because of the success of the airplane not crashing show, a few years later, get this, Treat Williams on a train that can't stop.
wow.
They basically made the same show.
Oh, he died in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Who did?
Jerry Van Dyke, 2018. He died.
Jerry did? I don't think it's Jerry Van Dyke. I don't know why we're going down this rabbit
He
hole.
was the younger brother of Dick.
I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of Dick Van Dyke's son.
Barry Van Dyke.
That might be him. But anyways, so they made
That
this.
guy?
That's him. Barry Van Dyke.
That is
That's
Dick's
his-
son.
That is Dick's son.
That's Barry.
So
I didn't know there were so many Van Dykes in business.
there's a lot of Van Dykes. So they made another one that's just a train running away, and Dick.
If you create
Treat
a
Williams.
wall of vans to hold back water, that's a Van Dyke.
Sorry. Okay.
Am I right?
That was not. You got to stop doing that. Oh, I've not got over this respiratory issue
I
that's
can tell.
been more chronic.
You've had that for 6 months now.
Yeah, it's something more chronic, I'm afraid. But it's yeah, that was a good one. But the ones that weren't good was anything with Treat Williams in it. Pretty much. He's not.
There's certain TV
Do not
actors.
recommend that. But I will say this: I have no clue how I got where I'm at right now. I don't know what I was talking about. So let me
Combat Commander,
hard
the
merge.
CBS.
Hard merge this. Here we go.
I got something. Okay, go ahead. If you don't have a hard merge, I do.
I don't. Go ahead.
Combat Commander, military action game,
Right.
war game.
Right.
If you could cast somebody as an action hero from today's group of people, who would you
Not
cast
true.
as the Combat Commander Europe for the movie?
For the movie.
For the movie,
On the-
Combat Commander Europe.
Okay. On the English,
What action stars?
on the American side.
Yes.
Who
to you is a modern day action star? Like I was thinking, okay, the A-Team was a good, not a good example. The new A-Team that starred Liam Neeson.
A-Team?
The A-Team.
Oh, go. Oh,
Remember the reboot
yes,
they did with
yes.
Bradley Cooper? Okay,
don't-
Bradley Cooper at one time before
He's a
he
raccoon
went,
now.
Before he went, and
He's
did
not
Rocky,
a raccoon tycoon, but he is just a regular raccoon.
Before he made Shallow with Lady Gaga, he was supposed to be like the next guy, the next it guy.
He's not an it guy.
I kind of think he's gone more the artistic route, like he's making movies.
You know
now.
who's an it guy?
Who?
Topher Grace. He should have been Venom.
So I was watching The Rookie.
I declared that was Topher Grace.
I was watching The Rookie, the TV show with Nathan Fillion.
You have to-
Jerry walks in and sees like one of the TOs, training officer. If you don't know the rookie lingo,
I know the rookie lingo from LAPD. Go ahead.
And Jerry walks in, just sees this guy, swears it's Topher Grace. Swear, Jerry, it's
Now,
not.
if you don't
It's
know who
not.
Topher Grace is, which you should, unless you've been living under a rock, but Topher Grace was the guy off That 70s Show who then went on to be one of the best Marvel villains of all time. He was Venom.
Stop.
He was Venom
You're going
in
to lose
in that
all of our
Spider-Man
listeners.
show I saw. He was Venom in the Spider-Man show I saw, and he was really good. And I don't know why.
With Dancing Toby.
With Dancing
Emo
Toby.
Emo
And so,
Spider-Man.
I have this thing. I don't know many actors, but the actors I do know, I see them everywhere.
You don't know many actors, but you know Topher Grace.
So, like literally, it's like a running gag that
Why
I have.
have you committed your
It's like
mind
every
to
time
Topher?
I'm watching a show, I go, "That looks like Topher Grace."
No, just
every
because
time.
it's a generic. You could be Topher Grace.
I could be a
generic white guy.
I look like Topher Grace.
You kind of do. You look just as much as like Topher Grace as the what was his name, Eric Winters or
I
something.
don't
for the
know,
Rookie.
but he wasn't Topher Grace.
The Rookie. I hope they renew it for season 2. Okay, so back to my deal. Combat Commander the movie. That's Liam Neeson on the cover. Okay,
Topher Grace is the corporal.
He's the man in charge. He's the general.
Chris Pratt's the sergeant.
Who's going to be the guy that takes the dudes into battle?
Keanu's good right now.
No, Keanu's not. Keanu is an action guy. John Wick proves that. Matrix proves that. But he's also like 50 years old. Who's under 40 that you can think of to lead an action movie?
Chris Pine, which is my favorite type of tree.
Is he under 40?
There's also
I don't know.
Ed Helms. He's pretty solid.
No.
There's also
My two favorites. These are my two favorites. And they're also, basically, if you want an action movie, you got to go superhero these days.
you have to.
Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. The Chris's. Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, if you want to be funny.
What's the deal?
do Chris
Is
Pratt.
just Chris. Everybody's named Chris.
They're all Chris. Toss a Chris in a movie.
Well, here's the thing: is you can't spell Christopher without Topher. And that is why they knocked off. He didn't want to be just
And we're
another
back.
Chris, so
We're
he just
back to
knocked
Topher.
off the Chris. He's like, I just call me Topher,
He's too cool for the Chris.
and he's very graceful. Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. All right, so Topher Grace, the new action hero.
We love you, Topher Grace, and I hope you hear this podcast.
The board game snobs, Topher Grace approved.
Approved.
We love Topher.
As what else is also approved? If you are a heavy gamer and you're looking for something,
Am
that's,
I a heavy gamer? I'm 350 pounds.
you've lost some weight. You're doing good.
No, this is discouraging to me. I spent all week counting calories. Mm-hmm. All week. Lost 6 pounds. Friday night, I got a little crazy. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to eat what I want. Gained 5 pounds in one night.
How do you do?
How's that
how did
possible?
That's
I
not
don't know.
possible.
I was like 345.
I think that's water.
I started off at 352, got down to 345 during the week. This morning I woke up, it was back to 351.
I beseech all of our
You know how discouraging that is?
12 fans that interact with us on the Facebook
Help me
and
lose
the
weight.
Instagram to send Gaby
Save
words
my life.
of encouragement to, because if he dies, this podcast dies with him. I don't know audacity. I don't know how to do the uploading.
So it's not the loss of a friend you're concerned with.
Who else will play?
It's the technical. I think Bubba's got you covered.
It took me 3 hours to teach you Combat Commander. We are committed in this relationship. We can't get rid of each other.
We are in a very committed
It
relationship.
is committed. If something happens to you,
Besides my wife and Sade, you're my third most committed relationship.
yeah.
I appreciate that about you.
I think that you're probably, yeah, I'd say the same. That's about the same.
You've got Enrique and you got me.
That's pretty much it.
Combat Commander, BGS, approved or not approved? Jerry?
It's approved, but
approved by us.
it is
For us.
For us. It's one of those that is going to be.
But now this is the deal. Are we going to be one of those things? If you like this type of game.
No. Okay, all right. Wait.
that.
It's niche. I like it. It's mechanically sound. It's hard to learn. If you're into this type, you're going to like it. So, for instance,
I would say generally, if you're a longtime board gamer, you want to expand your horizons, try something very difficult. And this is my deal. This is the most difficult game I've ever learned.
And you didn't even learn it. Yes.
I didn't even learn it. Okay, this is the most difficult game Jerry has ever taught me. We played TI. What would you say of our regular board game selection is the hardest game we have played and learned?
Twilight Imperium is pretty tough.
It's long, but does that equal tough?
Not necessarily. I will say that there are some games that are difficult due to the convoluted rules.
Yes.
I think that Anachrony is fluid in terms of its design. Like you once you understand it, well, but there is a lot of moving parts to it.
That's to me. It's like all these games. Anytime I teach somebody, they're like, "Oh, they're mind blown." And then the second they have listened to the rules, are like, "Oh, now it makes sense." That's all the games. But I would kind of view it as games that I've played some games that are easy to teach, even if I haven't looked at them for 6 months. Viticulture. It's a legit worker placement. And I don't know if it's because I've played it so many times or because I just know viticulture or because it's so smooth. But viticulture to me, I'd say it's a middle of the way.
Oh, yeah.
Crusaders. I know that game right now, and I haven't played it since I've gotten it 3 or 4 times. Guilds of London. I couldn't tell you how to play that game.
Guilds of London. Oh, that was well, Guilds of London holds it back mainly because of the iconology and
brass. I have a general idea of how it's played, but I could not. You couldn't open that up and me start playing it right now because it's a little more complicated to me. So for me, the hardest game probably that we have of modern board game design, I would say Guilds of London that I'm looking at on the shelf for me to remember how to play. That's a pretty heavy game. Archipelago. We haven't even tried to learn. You learned the rules once upon a time. You said it was tough. It's pretty convoluted. But these GMT games, they are legit. Lots of rules. And the basic actions are simple, but there's lots of little things that go along with it. Like, I can attack you, but say I call in artillery. Well, you got to go to the book, look at artillery. And it's got 3 or 4 different things you have to do to call in artillery. And the stuff like that makes it very difficult.
Yeah, there's a lot of war games and various other things like this have the rules that are exceptions. Like
exceptions.
Yeah,
yes.
you can do this, but you can't do this if this, and you've got to have this, and there's a process. It's like doing algebra. You have to go down this line of having the process of this is the function that you must do to get to this result. And that's very frustrating because it takes you out of the game. And if you're not the one to really want to delve into that and learn it, it just doesn't equate to a good time. And so that's why I truly love Combat Commander. But I would definitely recommend, if you're looking for a game that's on the lighter side, not so much as it's not easy to learn, but Star Wars Rebellion is an excellent game.
Even that's a pretty tough one too. Like if we were to set that up, I wouldn't know how to play that one right now.
Yeah, you have to go through it and learn it again. I mean, it's not necessarily just that intuitive, but once you figure it out, it's good. But I really.
But if you like making up a story as you play, being silly, being dumb, Star Wars Rebellion has one of my greatest gaming moments of all time, as does Game of Thrones. I have a few great gaming moments I can clearly remember. Star Wars Rebellion has one of them. Combat Commander now has one of them with Lieutenant Blankenship. Game of Thrones, yeah. It's just, some games are fun. They're nice and smooth. Viticulture. It's going to be the same thing all the time. I like that game. But it's not going to tell a story that I remember.
Right. Yeah, it's not something that's going to capture you and keep your attention. But we're moving on now into another game that we're trying to learn from the Coin series, Cuba Libre.
Another quote-unquote entry.
I was looking up something about
into the Coin series.
Cuban coffee. Huh? Had someone tell me about Cuban coffee, and I'm interested in trying it. I didn't know there was a thing of Cuban coffee, but apparently it's a. Is
it legal? Cuban cigars are supposed to be illegal, ain't they?
No, they stopped the ban. But you actually make it's some sort of South Floridan coffee, and I don't know why. I don't know how you make it. I'm actually learning about it. It's like a Cuban espresso. It's type of sweetened espresso shot. Anyways, I don't know why I was looking up stuff that had to do with Cuba.
I don't know either.
But Cuba
are you going to take Cuba Libre home?
I'm going to take it home. Okay. Because I told you last week, I'm going to learn this. I'll learn Combat Commander.
And I said, no, I'm going to learn it.
Yeah.
A week later, I'm like,
I had no faith in you.
Hey,
I had no faith in you. But please send Gaby encouraging weight loss tips and encouragement
No,
And-
this is the deal.
Yes,
I know
he needs
what to do to
No, you
lose
need
weight.
encouragement.
I
because
need
you're gonna
a
die,
magic
and
pill
with you,
that is going to take
the
away
26th greatest podcast,
take away my hunger.
board game podcast of all time.
Keep me alive for 20 more years. We might win the Board Game Geek Best
We
Podcast.
have to win the Board Game Geek Best Podcast because that will just cause my ego to go sky high.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this one. Thanks for listening. Leave us a review if you can on Apple Podcast. Email us thoughts, feelings, likes, dislikes, games you want reviewed, or just to say hi. Oh, we got another Twitter from somebody tweeted us from Newfoundland. They said just listen to episode 49 or 48, whichever one of the Viking ones, I think.
We're on Twitter?
Newfoundland. Yes, we're on Twitter.
Okay.
Well, stay off Twitter. You don't need to be on Twitter.
I'm getting
No,
on that.
no. If you really want to fight, Twitter's a place to go.
Is that
Actually, leave Instagram. Go to Twitter.
is that what the president uses?
That's the place to
Is it
use.
Twitter?
You and Donald can go back and forth.
All right.
If you want, I should have introduced you to Twitter first. You'd have never went to Instagram.
All right, I'm taking up. Well, the Instagram's the pictures. It's hard to take pictures on this potato or the cell phone that I have.
Yeah, when you see low quality pictures, that's Jerry.
I have an S4. So it's good. It's good.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate every single listener, one and all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Until next time,
This is Jerry.
this is Gaby. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.